When I stepped out of the school gates, the air felt cleaner, lighter somehow, as if the storm had taken something with it. I thought I could finally breathe again. But as I walked downhill toward town, that feeling changed. The streets didn't hum like they used to. The signs were wrong. Different fonts, different names. What used to be Yamato Bakery was now the Sunlit Table. Even the smell of bread was gone, replaced by something sterile, like freshly printed paper. I tried to tell myself it was just time. 15 years could change a lot. But then I saw the faces, familiar outlines, people I'd known since I was a kid, same eyes, same voices, but none of them looked at me like they knew who I was.
Excuse me, this used to be the bakery, right?
Bakery? No, dear. This has always been the bread shop. How you know?
No, I'm from here.
Oh, are you? What's your name?
Kai.
That's a nice name. Strange, though. I can't recall anyone by it.
She turned away before I could speak again. The silence that followed pressed down heavier than rain. Even the cicadas were gone. I wandered farther into town, where the streets used to spill with noise, bicycles, music, the hum of life. Now, every sound felt muted. The clock tower near the plaza still stood, but the hands were missing. I remembered meeting friends there after school, waiting for Ren, Arya, Hikari. I whispered their names. Nothing stirred. When I passed the post office, I stopped cold. Someone had painted over the mural on the side wall, the one Arya and I made during our last summer. The layer of paint was clean, uncracked, as if the old one never existed.
What happened to the mural? The one with the swallows?
Mural? You mean the wall we repainted last year?
No, the one before that. My friend. She painted it. Arya.
I think you got the wrong town, sir.
The wrong town. That phrase clung to me like ash. As evening fell, I reached the square. The fountain still trickled faintly, but the statue at its center was wrong. It used to be a girl reading a book. Now it was just a smooth, featureless pillar. No plaque, no inscription, only a reflection that looked like mine staring back. Something in me wanted to shout, to force this place to remember. But the more I looked, the more I realized it wasn't just forgetting me. It had rewritten itself entirely. Then I heard a voice behind me.
You're not supposed to be here after sunset.
I didn't know there was a rule.
There is, for strangers.
I'm not a stranger.
Everyone who stays too long becomes one.
Her eyes were pale like frost. She wore a school uniform, not the one from my time, but close. When I blinked, she was standing by the fountain's edge, her reflection rippling beside mine.
Do you know me?
I remember the name, but not the face.
You said remember, so you did know me once.
Maybe. Or maybe I only remember remembering.
The wind picked up. Her voice faded with it. I followed her through alleys that should have led nowhere, but they bent into new paths. The air smelled faintly of salt and ink. Every window I passed reflected me, older, unfamiliar, watching myself from a time that wasn't mine. Finally, we stopped at the edge of town, where a sign stood half buried in ivy. It once read Hinode Town, where the morning begins. Now only 2 words were legible. No memory.
Why does the town forget?
Because you asked it to.
That's not possible.
You erased your name from its memory so the fire wouldn't follow.
What fire?
The one that burned more than walls.
Her hand brushed the old sign, and for a moment it flickered, revealing the old slogan again before fading.
You're lying.
Then why does no one remember you?
She stepped back, her form dimming. The street lights buzzed faintly as if they were remembering how to glow. Before disappearing, she whispered one last thing.
Find the mirror. The town's reflection still knows your name.
The next morning, I woke on a bench near the plaza. My clothes were damp with dew. For a moment, I thought it was all a dream, until I saw the print shop across the street. In its display window was a photograph, a class photo. I ran across the street. The shopkeeper looked startled.
Where did you get that picture?
An old donation from the archives cleanup.
Can I see it?
Sure, but it's damaged. Most faces are gone.
He handed it to me. The paper was faded, edges curled, 11 faces visible, all blank-eyed, their names smudged. My face was missing entirely. But written faintly in the corner was a single phrase. Find me where reflections sleep. The words pulsed faintly under the glass like breathing. I spent the day searching rivers, shop windows, even puddles left from last night's rain. Every reflection seemed to ripple before I could see myself clearly. By dusk, I reached the lake, the same one behind the old park where we used to skip stones. The surface was still, too still. When I leaned closer, my reflection smiled before I did.
You really came back.
Who are you?
Who were you?
Stop playing games.
You made a deal with forgetting. You gave the town your name in exchange for silence.
I would never.
You already did. Room 13 was the door. This place is the lock.
The reflection reached toward me, the water trembling as if made of glass. When our hands nearly touched, ripples spread outward, and I saw them. Flashes of the fire again, the screaming, Arya pulling my arm, me shouting for help, the collapsing ceiling.
You promised to stay. You broke it. That's why no one remembers you.
I stumbled back, gasping. The surface calmed again, leaving only my distorted face. The town bells rang, hollow and uneven. The streets glowed under pale light as if dawn and dusk collided. I walked aimlessly, clutching the photograph. The bakery that wasn't, the mural that vanished, the statue without a face. All of it felt like echoes rearranged to keep me out. Then, as I passed the alley near the library, I heard footsteps behind me. It was the girl again.
Why show me this?
Because the forgetting is spreading.
Spreading?
You're not the only one who wanted to forget. The town obeyed all of you.
All of us?
You, Arya, Ren, Hikari, every one of you sealed the memory, and now they're breaking through.
Arya's alive?
Ask the mirror. He remembers what people can't.
She handed me a small object, a silver locket shaped like an eye. Inside was a shard of glass, faintly glowing.
Next time you look into water, don't just see. Listen.
And with that, she vanished again, leaving behind the faint sound of a school bell echoing from nowhere. By nightfall, the town had fallen utterly silent. The streetlights blinked in slow rhythm, like breathing lungs. When I looked down at the locket's glass, it reflected a different street. The one from years ago, full of life and names I remembered. For a second, I saw them. Ren laughing by the basketball court, Hikari taking photos by the river, Arya waving from across the plaza. Then the image shattered. All that remained was my reflection whispering something faint. You asked to forget. Now you must ask to remember. I tightened my grip on the locket. Then I'll remember, I said. All of it. The wind shifted. For the first time since I returned, the scent of bread drifted faintly through the air, soft, warm, impossible. Somewhere the town exhaled. If this place forgot my name because I traded it away, then maybe remembering it will cost me something worse. But I can't stop now. The echoes are getting louder. The girl, the mirror, the fire, they're all threads of the same memory trying to wake. And if I'm the reason this town forgot, then maybe I'm the only one who can make it remember again. Thank you for watching this episode of EchoMind Archives. If the echoes still call to you, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and follow me into the next chapter, the Cafe of Strangers, where all faces feel new. EchoMind Archives.